By eyesight, this is one of the ugliest sweet things ever. There are recipes that are part of the cultural quilt that make Mexico up, and a lot of them are pre-Hispanic and have evolved post-colonialization. This is one of those that we have to thank because of it. These spices that weren't native to the Americas were brought on through the conquest and gave us the most random, delicious milk curd. Claudette Zepeda here from San Diego, California. I fancy myself a cultural anthropologist of Mexican cuisine, not by education, strictly by nerdism. And I am going to show you guys how to make Chongos Zamoranos. Because of the fryers and the emissions that were being set up, sugar came to our coast. This is one of the coolest recipes, I think, and it teaches you how to make cheese, and then you dump a bunch of sugar and cinnamon and make them sweet. Since I was a little kid, this has been one of my favorite desserts, and not enough people know about it. We just have our yolks here. I'm just gonna add a little bit of milk. We don't want this to boil because you're gonna scorch it. So because we are making a cheese, it involves a coagulant. This one we're using an animal rennet. You dilute it with water, and this happens pretty fast. It starts to separate. Everyone, when you say, what's your favorite dessert in Mexico? 9 times out of 10, someone's gonna say a churro. Churros aren't from Mexico. They're not from France. They're not even from Spain. They're a byproduct of the colonization that happened in China. In China, they had a fried dough. Spaniards took it, it evolved. Landed on our land, it evolved. The beauty of food, it has, whoever touches it makes it evolve and makes it grow, makes it different. And that's why I love learning what I learned. So once you have your egg yolks in, you have your rennet in, what you're looking for is coagulation to start. But you can see if I were to shake this, it's almost like a buoy. It stops being sloshy like raw milk or like just regular milk. It almost looks like Jell-O. It's still really cold. And again, you don't want the heat too high because then you'll scorch the milk and you'll get scorched chongos. I think Michoacán is one of the coolest states for sweets. For some reason, they have a lot of the milk products, so the milk candies. And when you think about Mexican snacks, the first thing everyone thinks of is, oh, I love Mexican candy. This is one that Michoacán is kind of famous for. It's very visually obvious when this is kind of forming. It's like a little island of curd. You want a milk that is ideally raw or as least pasteurized as possible. That makes the curd a little bit more structurally sound. You just cut to make smaller curds. And I don't know how in history someone decided to take juices that come out of an animal and make delicious cheese, but I thank them for it. You can use any kind of cinnamon that's to your preference. Mexican cinnamon, it's actually the best cinnamon comes out of Veracruz. It is insanely flavorful, super spicy, kind of like the bubblegum cinnamon. That's like the flavor that it gives you. And you just kind of want to stick these in between the curds. We did not get sugar cane until we started getting the slave trades through colonialization. And because Mexico as a whole has so many microclimates, diverse terroirs, foothills, highlands, lowlands, we can pretty much grow anything from the north to the south. Sugarcane grows beautifully in Oaxaca, so we started seeing a lot of refined sugar desserts. The same time that the most beautiful buildings were being built in very European fashion, these conquests were hitting different towns, and the sweets have evolved by that process. And it is a lot of sugar, but again, you're making essentially a cajeta, a whey caramel. So a lot of sugar is necessary. And we're gonna crank it about medium heat. You don't want it to boil because what'll happen is as it shakes, the curds will break up then. So again, nothing boils. This is what it ends up looking like. And it's not the prettiest thing. My mouth is watering. It's been a long time since I made these from scratch. You can see here the texture on it kind of looks almost woody, but this texture, once it's cooled, it's incredibly satisfying. It's a really good texture to eat ice cream with, to have folded into a panna cotta. You can eat this hot, but the perfect texture, that like curd chew, that little squeakiness that curds are known for, happens once this cools completely. So we have some here that are chilled, and you can make a really tasty ice cream sundae by just layering ice cream and chongos. You gotta get a little bit of everything in there. That like squeak in your ears that you hear when you bite down on this is like the most satisfying thing. Though they are not appealing to the eyesight and they are incredibly tasty, they also have this deep-rooted history in Mexico through the colonization and through us becoming Catholic. All of these sweet ideas came from religion, go figure.